Hey y'all, it's Brooke and I just finished week 2 of my ultra marathon training. That is insane. So let's get into what I did this week to train. But first, I need you to appreciate this new shirt that I just got with all these woodpeckers on it. Now that that's out of the way, we can get into the training. This week was very similar to last week in terms of what I did each day. Day 1, I started off with weights. Again, I'm really focusing on low weight and high reps for these workouts. And I do literally the exact same workouts every time. So I start off with some core usually, and then I just focus on lower body. I do some squats and we have a leg extension and curl machine. So I do that as well. And I do some calf raises and such. And I make sure to do a lot of stretching on these days as well. I don't really have much to say about my lifts because again, they're all the same and I'm not trying to like break any records while I'm doing them. Sorry, my lift days aren't very interesting. My day 2 was the first run of the week. It's what I call my medium effort run. I did 5 miles at an 11:21 pace. This run scared me a little bit at the beginning because I was having my first signs of pain that I've had during this training. I had like this really sharp pain in my heel, and luckily I just stopped during the run and stretched my calf for like 30 seconds and it was fine the rest of the run, and I never felt that pain again throughout the week. My number one goal like for this training block just in general is not to get injured. I'm trying my hardest to make sure that I'm stretching and taking those recovery days so that I don't get injured, and so far it's going well. So that was like the first time that I ever had an inkling of being injured, and so I was a little scared. I got the run done. It was so windy, which was good for like half of it because I had a tailwind, and then of course on the way back I had a headwind. It was varying amounts of effort throughout the run, just depending on the wind. But overall, I would say I felt pretty good. It was also all on the road. Not my favorite, but we got it out of the way. We got those miles done. Day 3 was weights again. Exact same exercises as last time. Some core, some lower body, lightweight, high rep. The reason I'm doing that is to work on the endurance in my muscles. Day 4 was my second run of the week. I did a speed workout, and I put that in quotes because my speed workouts are usually pretty slow, at least compared to other people. And I did intervals again. So last week I did my first intervals ever and I liked them, so I did them a second time. This run was my toughest of the week. I always feel like one of my runs goes bad or I feel bad on it, and this was the one this week. And I credit that solely to the humidity. It was 85% humidity on this run, which is brutal. That just made it hard. And so I just tried my best. I warmed up for a mile around an 11-minute pace, and then I did quarter-mile intervals for 2 miles where I was running pretty much at threshold pace and then running really slow, like over a 12-minute pace for the next quarter mile, and then going back and forth. And then I cooled down for a mile again at like an 11-minute pace. And I did good. Like the first 2 fast runs, I was running at like an 8:15, 8:20 pace. But after those first 2, I was really struggling. And after my very last fast run, I like felt like I was gonna puke. I felt like I was gonna puke. So after my last sprint, we're walking it for a second, get my heart rate down. We'll get going here in a sec. Which I've never really felt that feeling on a run before, so that was not very pleasant. And I did not puke, but I had another slow interval after that fast one, and I pretty much walked that entire quarter mile to try to not puke. And then I finished my cool down and it was all fine. And then I came back and laid on the floor and contemplated life. That was definitely my hardest run of the week, but I did it. I don't know how intervals are gonna work in the future because I am going to increase the miles in like my non-long run. If you watch last week's video, these are the same distances as last week. So I did my 5-mile medium run, 4-mile fast run, and I added my mileage this week to my long run. And so next week I'm actually gonna add my mileage to those shorter runs. And I seriously don't think that I could do an interval for 5 miles instead of 4. At least not to the extent that I'm doing them now, because I'm dead at the end of the interval part. I might just have to ditch the intervals now that I'm going a further distance. I don't know, we'll have to see how I'm feeling. Oh, also the worst part, my headphones died after my warm-up. So I did my whole fast run without any music, which should impress you, but it was also horrible. Do not recommend doing your speed training without music. I will do my best to never have to do that again. Day 5, I took an active rest day, I guess I would call it. I did 2 different hikes. So I did one in the morning. I was birding at one of my favorite birding spots. It's a beautiful little place in Fort Worth that you can see some good birds. And I was on the hunt, guys, for this rare bird called Elise grebe, and he had been hanging out in this area. So I went to look for him, did not find him, but I did find a lifer, a blue grosbeak. Those are really beautiful, and I'll never forget him. Here's my picture of my blue grosbeak. So at least I got a lifer out of it. I would have loved to see the grebe though. Maybe I'll try again next week if he's still being reported there. And then in the evening, I did a little hike with Nate just in a local park. Really trying to make sure I'm staying active and getting some steps in during these rest days. Day 6, I took another active rest day because we were doing really exciting things and we were actually apartment hunting. We have to move out within the next few weeks. We were looking at apartments. I didn't really have a lot of time to do a workout that day. So in the morning, we went to a local nature preserve and did a little hike there. I had a really good time. Great activity to start the day. Day 7 was my long run at one of my favorite trail running places ever. And I'm really sad because once we move, I'm gonna be pretty far away from this place and probably won't come back here very often. So I treated this as like my farewell run to this place. I felt so good on this run, guys. I did 10 miles at a 12:39 pace, and I really tried my best the previous 2 days, especially the day before, to fuel for this run. So I made this delicious pasta the night before and ate a huge bowl of it. If you remember, like a year ago, this pasta called the Gigi Hadid pasta went viral and I'd never tried it before. So I made that and it was so good, first of all. And second of all, I really did feel very fueled during my run. I was also really, really good about my water this week. This run, I felt physically really, really good. The only thing I think I would have done differently on this run is bring more food. So my favorite fuel on my runs is fruit snacks. And I brought 1 pack and I should have brought 2 because I want to practice taking fuel every 45 minutes at least, earlier if possible. I found that on my runs, I wait too long to eat and then I end up like feeling really terrible. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably eat something, where I should be like trying to prevent that. So I'm going to try to be better about practicing my fueling. I think I would have felt a lot better at the end of that run if I had brought another pack of fruit snacks or a gel or something to eat. And that was the end of my week. So this week I did 19 miles for my training block. Next week we'll break 20, hopefully. I'm super excited. We're just gonna take it week by week until we get to that ultra marathon. So thanks for watching. If you want to follow along with my training, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye.